but I didn't quite know what. So after researching a lot and educating myself on this type of abuse, it's really taken me to a whole new level. This sounds kind of twisted, but I find it kind of fascinating the way the brain works with these type of people, because regular people, you cannot rationalize these type of behaviors. You know, your average person would be like, well, that's not right, or I would feel horrible if I did this to somebody. But these abusers, they are so cunning and so good at it. In any time that their mouth is open, make no mistake about it, they're lying. That is a fact. You will find yourself, when you finally put it together, fleeing, not leaving the situation, fleeing the situation, running to get away from these people, because they are so good at crazy making. They manufacture everything. Like, they will do the most heinous things to people. And the triangulation that they play and the games they play and the victim, they're so good at it. I mean, looking back now at my situation, I mean, it's kind of weird, because during the idealization phase and the gaslighting, I mean, you would think this man adored me. He put me on a pedestal. He loved me. He cherished me. For the love of God, people used to be like, I wish I could have a man like that. And now that I have my eyes wide open and see everything clear, it's crazy that at one point I was there with this man thinking I had the perfect relationship. He was my soulmate. You know, I thought I couldn't have went wrong. He was 14 years older. He was situated in life. I didn't think I would deal with cheating, lying, drugs, manipulation, any of it. You know, and I was always a very shallow person and went for looks, hands down. So this time I tried to switch it up and started to realize that wasn't getting me anywhere in life. And here I have this man that adores me, and he would do anything to be with me, and I couldn't go wrong. So when you let your guard down and love someone within, and you realize that the inside is uglier than the outside, when that mask slips off their face and you see them in true form for their true self, when you see that, it is just mind altering. It's bone chilling. It's like something I just, like with domestic abuse, at least bruises and bones heal. This type of mental abuse is by far the worst thing that I've ever experienced in my life. And I will talk a lot about that and, you know, where I started and learning. And it's kind of funny, a girlfriend of mine in the salon industry, she said to me that I was married to a sociopath, psychopath. And I'm like, what? I thought, you know, oh God, those people kill people and whatnot. And she's like, no, you need to get the book, The Sociopath Next Door. Well, I listened to her and I did get the book, but it took me like a year and a half after I just sat there beating myself up, trying to figure out what I did wrong, what happened. Like, I never fought with my husband. We never had a problem. And all I did was work to help him make more and more money, and handed him over every single penny. Because I was raised that way. I was a good little wife. He had a soldier. He had a fucking soldier. A warrior. Oh, you're broke and crying poor mouth? Oh, well then I'll make more money for you. Let's do this, let's do that. And this is what I did. And before you know it, you just are consumed by these people. And they never loved you. They never cared. They always cheat. They always lie, which, by the way, a lot of people with narcissistic abuse, the abusers get off on letting you know that they're actually cheating and so on and so forth. In my case, my husband was so good at what he did. He was so secretive. He was so good. He knew that I would never tolerate that I would leave him. So, do I have actual evidence of it? No. Do I believe he did? Abso-fucking-lutely. After reading all these books, talking to all these doctors, educating myself on secondary supply source and first, and all of it, make no mistake about it. When I say every time they open their mouth, they are lying, it is true. He had so many cameras on me, like 40, GPS, watching me, calling me. I mean, for one day one of the boarders was complaining about the grass. She said it was nice, but it was getting really tall, and he was a procrastinator. So I got on the ride around mower and I started laughing. I said to the two people, I go, what do you want to bet? Within 5 minutes, my husband walks through the pasture. Sure as shit, here he comes. Dun, dun, dun. And I'm like, wow. And I knew he watched me. I knew he was insecure, but I really didn't care because I knew it was dysfunctional. But for God's sakes, I've been in dysfunction my whole life. Thank God that he had me, right? But I wasn't doing anything wrong. Did I think it was unhealthy? Absolutely, that's not healthy. Not at all. But, and I also did not know he had like 40 cameras on me and everything else. I had no clue. He records people all the time for no reason. And he rants and writes a lot. The amount of information that I found out just from him telling on himself was overwhelming. Like, when I got with him, of course, typical narcissist borderlines, you know, oh, my ex was a piece of shit, she was a whore, she's a drunk, she's a drug addict, this one used to be drooling in bed drunk, this one, you know, stole this from me. And I mean, it was just constant back and forth, victim, you know. The only ex that I ever really heard about was, well, his ex-wife briefly, but that was like 20 years ago. And then Desiree, which, by the way, we've become very close. She's a wonderful person. She had 2 strokes at a very young age, and they bought the house together, this ranch, and she was into horses like I am, dogs, showing and whatnot. And when she got sick, not only was he cheating and manipulating and lying, after she had 2 strokes at a young age with no history of stroke in her family, he not only threw her out like yesterday's trash, that poor thing, he rolled her in her wheelchair out the front gates and gave her $40 to take a cab. Meanwhile, lo and behold, he moved some stripper whore into her home. He leaned her horses, sold one for $38,000, didn't even give her a penny. And if that wasn't enough, they weren't married either. I think they were together 10 years or plus, something like that. She had her shit together. Business did well for herself. He stole everything from her. Everything. And it's so crazy when I read through all this crazy making. He has a pattern. It's like every 5 to 7 years, he repeats the same exact thing over again and again and again. It's like a hamster on a wheel, and he just keeps running, and he keeps committing the same exact thing in relationships over again and again and again with the same outcome. And, you know, that's the thing. was smart enough when he used to victim and, oh, my ex did this and my ex did that, I would look at him and say, well, they couldn't have been that bad if you were with him that long. And it would kind of shut him down. Little did I know I wasn't entertaining it, so it never really went anywhere. But what I know now, what I didn't know then, is that this is exactly what they do. So like my husband's new victim, you know, she was posting stuff on Facebook and sending things via Messenger about how we've only been married 4 years and I only want money and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, as much as I would love to hate her, I couldn't possibly hate her because she is a victim. She is just not as smart as I was with street smarts and so on. And she is believing everything out of his mouth, which is nothing but lies. We've been married 9 years. And it's like, it's a matter of public record, you know. But God knows what he filled her head full of. You know, he makes all his exes out to be monsters. And usually these people, whatever they're saying, whatever they're manufacturing, whatever they are telling you about their exes to try to start a smear campaign and slander and all the bullshit that they do, basically they're talking about themselves. Everything and anything that they're saying their exes are, it's really what they are. And it doesn't really take a lot of brains to figure it out. It's just most people really don't care. It's like me, when he would always talk about his exes, you know, granted I could have got into a debate with him and I could have looked into it, but quite frankly I didn't care. It was in the past, and I didn't entertain it, basically. But you know, it makes the hair stand up on my arms now, because when I think about where I was with the idealization and the gaslighting and the love bombing and how he used to try to say that to me about his exes, even though I didn't entertain it, it was still there, and I just didn't really reach out to look into it. Now that I'm in this situation and it blew up in my face, of course, I'm researching everything, looking into everything, and it is just blowing my mind. It is blowing my mind. Everything, it's almost like all these books are written about my husband. It's like talking to his exes. It's amazing. So with his new victim now, it's funny because she's probably sitting there thinking the same thing I did. Oh, he's so wonderful and he just adores me and I just hit the lottery. For the love of God, I hit the lottery with this one because he would never do anything to hurt me. Lo and behold, monster, 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 monster. Run, run, Forrest, run. That's all I can tell you. This has always been there, so it's not like it just popped up one day. And that's what I can't wrap my head around. It's like I slept in bed and fell asleep in his arms every night. And it's like, whoa, what was going through his mind? So anyways, obviously you can tell I love to talk. I have so much stuff for you. I have so much information on my life in general, on domestic violence, and definitely on narcissistic personality disorder and mental health in general. I want to reach out to people on that because it is a problem, and people try to cover it up, and people try to say things like, oh, I don't want my kid labeled or whatnot. So this all goes hand in hand, and in time I'll explain my story and get in more depth to all of that. A lot has happened, a lot. So I'm going to try to keep this, probably went over way too much on this video, but just to give you an idea who I am and what my YouTube channel will be about, and if there's anybody's life I can change and help. You know, for any victims of domestic abuse or narcissistic abuse, get free and stay free. God bless you.